Hi, everyone. I'm Summer.
I'm Carrie.
And this is Opalite Podcast.
I'm nervous.
Oh, don't be nervous. It'll be fun. Fuck. Oh my God. What the hell just happened? What the hell? What is happening? Make sure you come back. We're going to do this bi-weekly. So make sure you come back to talk to us more about, sex, drugs, and self-improvement. All right. So for the audience, a couple of notes for the audience. This is being recorded on Halloween. This is our little Halloween party. So you get to share some of the girl time, right? But we thought it was appropriate to air it closer to New Year's, since we're going to do some readings, tarot and oracle readings, about looking forward into the next year. Also want to make a note about the title of the episode. I happen to be searching name meanings because that's just something I do. And I found out that both Priya and Carrie's name, one of the potential meanings is beloved for both of them. And then, of course, hypoxia is wisdom. So we've got beloved wisdom. So that's our theme for our party tonight. So we did some readings for each other. Priya pulled cards. What kind of cards are you using? Let me get my screen shared. But can you tell us what kind of cards you're using?
Yeah. So for the inspirational theme of this year, I use this deck called Spiritual AF. And it's called 99 inspirational cards for people who need some fucking inspiration.
Okay.
Yeah, this deck has really even called me on some of my shit, even though it's
nice.
Really lighthearted. So I love it. I love it a lot. I got it from a friend of mine who got it for me, and she was like, "This is the perfect deck for you because I know you like to curse." And I was like, "You are correct."
That is amazing.
And then for your 4 main cards, I use the Wild Unknown Tarot. The back of the cards kind of look like this black and white kind of thing. But that was my very first tarot deck that I had gotten back in 2016, 2017. And it has been with me ever since and has been my trusted tarot deck for the longest time. It's one of my top favorites.
Nice.
And then I also love the same person who did those cards also did these archetype cards.
Okay,
and
I have some pictures of those.
Yeah, and these archetype cards are so beautiful. I mean, the artwork on them. Yes.
So what does that mean, archetype?
Archetype is now this is where the English language fails me quite a bit.
Always.
Archetypes are like stories, the stories or the embodiment of a particular trait or characteristic. Archetypes are really the stories that we attach to the characters of the people in our life, or at least that's how I view archetypes. Is everyone I know feels some kind of archetype, whether it's the mother archetype, whether it's the creator archetype, or the poetic archetype. There's all kinds of different archetypes that you can use. And what I really like about this deck is how creative and open it is. And the book that comes with it, the descriptions are just beautiful, very thought-provoking. And so I feel very attracted to the artwork, and it's the same artist as the Wild Unknown. So that was one deck that I used. And then for the final 2 decks that I used, there's one called 30-day affirmations, and I can't remember who the creator is off the top of my head. I might have to follow up with you after that. But these little affirmations have been they're very simple. And that's what I like about them a lot, is that they're very simple. They're easy to shuffle to, which is nice. And then last but not least, my favorite one of my favorite oracle decks that I have now is called the Self-Love Oracle, and it's by Janet Chui. And I'm sure I'm saying that wrong, but she has an Instagram and she like illustrates all of her they're like watercolor type.
That's gorgeous.
Cards, and they're drawn from like different like an array of different cultures and things like that. So that's why I chose those decks. And plus my pendulum affirmed that picking those decks for Carrie's reading was correct. So
nice. So can you, for those who aren't familiar with the pendulums, can you kind of explain how that works into your reading here?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so this, I'll show you my pendulum. It is this, hold on, I'm going to try to get it in the frame. This is my Opalite Pendulum, and this thing has been my saving grace on many occasions. I use my pendulum as guidance, and basically what I do is I hold it between my thumb and my index finger, and I will ask it a question, and you have to kind of program your pendulum to tell you what yes and no means. Like right now, mine is spinning in the direction of yes, so obviously this is a very good reaffirmation of the reason we did this podcast. But you kind of program it to show you what yes and no means, and that way when you have questions that come up like, hey, should I take reversals, tarot reversals in this reading, it'll say yes or no. Sometimes it'll even say maybe. But that's what I use my pendulum for, and I'm sure there's a very, very many people who do use pendulums in different ways, and that I'm very excited to learn about. So there's that. Okay, so did you want to hop into the reading, or?
Yes, let's look at the, oops, I put the cards in the wrong order. I'm sorry.
You're fine.
There we go. Card 1.
Yeah, Carrie got the Wheel of Fortune, which I thought was very awesome for so many reasons. First of all, the Wheel of Fortune, I mean, the name pretty much says it all. It's like expect the unexpected and the unfamiliar. Well, typically with the Wheel of Fortune, the card number is 10. So that may be a number of importance for you, Carrie, because 10s can represent the end of a cycle, or the start of something new because you are ending something. And so with the Wheel of Fortune, I thought it was very cool that it really speaks to laws of it and cycles of karma, right? So like being flexible, being open to the possibility of new directions that may come up to you on a whim, even, when you least expect it. And then being optimistic and like having faith that whatever situation that you find yourself in, whether it's at the end of the year or at the beginning of the year, to have hope and faith that it will work out as it should, because there are lots of factors that are being taken into consideration outside of your control. So I think that that's one reminder of the Wheel of Fortune is, while this change is coming to you, it is it's pretty much at the direction of the universe. So you got to be ready for it when it comes. It's not always going to be like on a scheduled type fashion, or at least it's never worked that way for me. And then also, it talks about good luck, karma, life cycles, new opportunities, especially when it comes to like love, relationships, jobs, family, your physical and spiritual well-being. But this card, one thing that it always asks me when I seem to pull it is, what patterns or cycles are beginning or ending, and which ones are repeating? So it's kind of like a double whammy. Like, yeah, we're gonna give you some change, but we're gonna make you think about it first.
Great.
It's like, thanks, gotcha. So I was really excited to see that was for your winter, Carrie, that you pulled the Wheel of Fortune. So your winter is going to be pretty interesting, I feel like.
Sounds great.
And then for your spring, I pulled the Four of Swords. And I'll give you some important numbers to keep an eye out for after we get done here, because there were a lot of numbers that kept speaking up to me for your reading.
Oh, no.
So that Four of Swords, it looks so innocent.
Does it? Because to me, it kind of looks like they're trying to stab the lamb in the head. So,
but it's got the sun. It's got the sun on its forehead, like it's gonna save it or something. I don't know.
or his
We'll
head's
see.
exploding.
Yes, it is possible that a lamb head is exploding as we speak.
You know.
So
Sorry.
for this card, I thought this. I don't know. I feel like you might be worn out by the time winter season gets done with you. And so this one, when I pull this card, it really speaks to me for the need for like contemplation, recuperation of some kind, being in a passive or receptive state rather than like a giving or exporting kind of state of mind, as well as like relaxation, rest, reflection. One thing I did want to highlight, because I know you guys talked about this in a previous episode, was the scoreboard. So
Yes.
I just want to say, with the Four of Swords for the spring, there may be a lull in the job and love market. So
That's okay.
She needs some rest at this point.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was like, maybe she wants it, maybe she doesn't, but
Totally okay.
And then one thing that this card always brings up for me is it's almost as a challenge to like stay silent and be inactive. And that's kind of hard if you're a person that's always on the go.
Well, I'm not. Well, not always on the go. Maybe at work.
Yeah. So like, if you feel like you're, going super fast during your spring, I think this card is just hinting at some need for rest and relaxation at some point in your spring. And you may even need some seclusion, but you feel like a people person to me. So I don't know how well you do with like the seclusion part of things, or if that would be necessary.
Pretty hit or miss.
Yeah. It's also a thing about like if you've reached a milestone. So maybe with that Wheel of Fortune, you end up with some kind of like large change, and the Four of Swords comes after that big change. So, and that's your key to chill out and just kind of take it easy. So we'll see what winter and spring bring you, because I'm kind of interested to see how this plays out for you.
I'm scared now.
Don't be scared. But I think it's an important reminder that you probably already reached one milestone, and so that's why you're resting to like start working on the next one. So just a warning, don't be too scared. We'll be there cheering you on and like holding you down while you do your thing.
You have our supports.
Thank you
Yes.
for the opportunity.
But you should be excited for summer, because that looks like it's going to be hella fun. You got the Four of Wands, which 4 seems to be a very important number for you for 2022, Carrie. And the Four of Wands typically talks about like celebrations, reunions, feeling supported and secured, having that firm foundation, firm stability that you feel comfortable and supported in. It also talks about home environment. So maybe you might be doing some changes to your home environment around then, maybe some home improvement or something to kind of match where you are in life, whether it's your home, your office, or whatever it may be. But birthdays, I don't know if you know a lot of people who have a lot of birthdays in summer.
My birthday is the summer.
See? Confirmation. I love it. Because my birthday is in the summer too. So, and we have someone named Summer on our podcast. So
Yes. all the summer.
Yes, I love it. And so I think what you're going to see during this time period in the summer is a lot of progress. It could be like progress in your home life, your work life, your love or spiritual life, or maybe even your physical wellness. And it's even a call to even reflect on your progress so far. So like, when you started at the beginning of the year, and then kind of like reflecting and assessing like what you've been able to do, from that time frame up until the summer. that might be a good point for like rest and reflection too.
Sounds good. I'm excited for that.
Hell yeah. And then I always get like super excited when the Queen of Swords, this says Mother of Swords, but it's the Queen of Swords in the traditional tarot. And the Queen of Swords is like a bad bitch. I love the Queen of Swords. The Queen of Swords and the Queen of Wands are like my two favorites. But this I feel is gonna really propel you into something really cool, it feels like, at least from my perspective, because this card talks about being like a quick thinker, like a problem solver. So like if you're running into obstacles or things like that, like you're going to be able to solve them fairly easily, I think, with this kind of energy to embody. This, you know, Queen of Swords is typically organized and perceptive. They're pretty independent. They're clear about their boundaries. They have their focuses on direct communication, so you may be having to lay down some boundaries and shit by the time fall rolls around in your timeline. But it's also about mental clarity and intellectual power, right? So like the ability to like discern what you're being told and to like see through the lies, basically, is like, it's kind of like having a superpower if you think about it. Being able to see through someone's bullshit and be like, I'm pretty sure you're lying, and we're not going to do this. So that's what I love about the Queen of Swords. But also the Queen of Swords is pretty honest and assertive and disciplined. So if there's a goal that you have for like the fall portion of the year, I think this card is indicating that whatever it may be, it will be successful because of the problem solving and the being able to adapt and be quick-witted and flexible, and that kind of thing is going to serve you well.
I'm excited.
Exciting.
The fall, so now I'm.
Oh, sorry. I was like, it looked like it had frozen, like you were rolling your eyes, and I was like, oh no.
Okay, so say what you said again because you were frozen.
I was saying I have some stuff that I was planning for the fall, so now I'm like hoping to shoot for it. So
Great, exciting.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And then for the oracles, I pulled a self-love oracle so you could have a theme for the year. And your oracle, self-love oracle, was be nimble. And this is, I'm gonna see if I can. This is kind of what
I'll get it on the screen in a second.
Okay.
I just have to pull it back up. There it is.
Yeah. So the be nimble part of it, I think that's one of my favorite cards in the entire deck, just because of the artwork. Because it's really beautiful. Like even when you look at the other cards, they're just so ethereal, it feels like. But for this oracle in particular, with the being nimble, I think it's really asking you to be in a more receptive state for 2022. Being more flexible in terms of what you ask for. So like, for example, you're asking for, let's just say, like a new job, right? That job could come in a very unexpected form. So the help that you're asking for could be coming to you in a very unexpected form, if that makes sense. So like, if you're planning something and you're asking about, what approach do I need to take in terms of finding this new job? The approach may be that you need to be pretty flexible about what this looks like for you. That kind of thing. So that's just one thing. I'm throwing a lot at you right now, so if I need to slow down, tell me. And then the next card that I have for you is called I Am Strong, and it's the number 19. And this is, I think, one of my favorite affirmations about being strong, because it's like, it feels like I'm taking control in a way that's more true to myself. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. But it says, I am stronger than I think I am. I reject victimhood. My strength is in knowing that all circumstances are temporary. I focus my attention on what's in front of me. I naturally move forward into new phases of life. I am strong. So there's a lot of new shit coming your way, Carrie. There's lots of new shit. I don't know if you want to hear that or not, but you're getting lots of new shit.
I'm for new stuff. I'm tired of everything right now.
Understandably so. I would agree.
I feel like we should sing the song from The Lion King. Be prepared.
That would be ideal.
If one of you look like Scar, I'll allow it.
You have to do my makeup. I'm not that good at special effects.
Got you.
Carrie, I know the other day you said that your mom got you the Nightmare Before Christmas deck.
Mm-hmm.
There's the same lady who did that one is actually working on a Disney villains deck.
Oh, that might be fun.
I am so excited for that it's ridiculous. I shouldn't be that excited, but I am.
I'm so excited now and I want to get it.
Carrie's gonna need that one.
Duly noted for summer birthdays. Wink, wink.
Right?
Christmas gift or birthday gift, whatever.
Give me my first tarot deck like ever, so
there you go. I love it. And for your final and last card, which I think when I give you your mini summary of your reading, I think you're going to be impressed somewhat. We'll see. I'm raising the bar, even though I shouldn't.
Bar's very high.
Yes, the bar is very high. So the last card I pulled was a card. It was the archetype card called I don't know if I'm saying this right, but agape. Is that how you say it? Agape.
Yes.
It's like love.
Yes. Love.
This card, the description was just so overwhelming, but not in a bad way. It was just overwhelming and like, wow, that's pretty powerful. So for this card, this card really speaks about devotion and unconditional love, right? And when we're talking about that kind of love, it's like a spiritual initiation that like stretches your capacity to love and serve in a way that is not draining for you, but also that is helpful toward others and that has a good balance for you as well. And when it stretches your capacity to love and serve, you're being awestruck by all of the sacred forces that are all around us. So it's just like kind of like being awestruck by the fact that you can look outside and see the moon, like just the power of that kind of thing, It's like taking you back and just being like, wow, I really am like so small and compared to the universe.
Yes.
But you still feel that like gratitude and appreciation to be able to like feel and experience that in a way that, maybe a lot of people don't. So I think that is super cool that you pulled this card, because I think what it really calls for is reassessing what not just you, but like just people in general consciously or unconsciously worship every day. Right. I know I've had this conversation with Summer many times that, the individualism and capitalism is a cult that's going to kill us all.
Kill the entire planet.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or at least make it uninhabitable for us.
And I will say I've been watching the People's Oracles readings, new moon readings, full moon readings for the past 2 or 3 years now. And she recently did one, I want to say that was like in the summer. And she said she got a lot of flack for it, but she said, there is one way out of this. There is a single exit door out of this. And that is abandoning whiteness.
I see that.
And she got a lot of flack for that. I mean, it's true though. I mean, if we keep going doing what we're doing, we're gonna all end up in probably in bits and pieces floating in space. I mean,
white supremacy is killing us all.
Everything is on people's whiteness, and that's so tragic because you're erasing like everything about everyone else. Like, and everybody has something to contribute. So just placing the whiteness ahead of everything is just dumb and stupid and destructive. Like, everybody has something to contribute and everybody's beautiful. Like, why would we do that?
Right.
Yeah, for
So,
real, man.
I agree.
Uh,
Whiteness be erased, like putting forward.
It's a cult, man. Individualism and capitalism are a cult that are just gonna wipe us off the planet until we fucking wake up and just be like, fuck these people, these billionaires. Let's kick them. Let's put them on a rocket ship and kick them into the sun.
I say that all the time. I say we need to put them on a bus and catapult to the sun.
Right. But the problem is, even if we got rid of all the billionaires today, the problem is still all those people in the middle, right? People who have this ideology just see themselves as a they're not in poverty or the middle class or whatever. They're just temporarily embarrassed, wealthy people, right? So they just want to move up in that. They don't want to get rid of the oppressive system. They just want to be at the top of it.
Right.
And that's a problem. So even if we got rid of those billionaires, somebody else is going to still be pushing down.
Cut off one head, 3 more pop up.
Right. So the problem is the whole ideology.
Yes, absolutely.
I'll do it one.
So with that, we are starting our commune now.
Get your
So I was gonna tell you, Carrie, that I think with that card being your last card, I think this is gonna be a pivotal year for you in love, and I mean love, platonic, sexual, romantic, all the loves. I think this is your year where you're going to figure out how you give love, how you receive love, how you maintain it, how you share it, how you process it, how you experience it. Like, I feel like these are kind of like the floodgates for you, in other words, that are opening in terms of how you experience and share love. So I'm hoping that this turns out to be a wonderful, fantastic year for you. You deserve it.
Thank you. I think it's really cool that, because agape is like just one of the Greek words for love.
Yeah.
And the Greeks had like 28 different words for different kinds of love. Like, it really does function like the whole world like functions on like the ability to love. So I'm excited.
Yay, that's exciting.
Much Priya.
Yeah, you bet.
Okay, so I pulled cards for Priya. And I used Oracle. I used an Oracle deck that's based on the moon phases. So this is what the spread looks like. I did a 10-card spread because, transitioning into a new year is a big deal. So I wanted the full picture, right? And in Oracles, you don't do reversals. So these are pretty. I love this deck, and I chose this deck specifically because it's very clear. So that way the folks who are watching can, kind of understand a little bit better too, even if they're not familiar. So the first card, so for those who aren't familiar with card layouts, each position of a layout means something. So the first card will be the present. The second is the challenge. The third here at the bottom is the past. You go to the left to the fourth card is the recent past. Fifth is the outcome if nothing changes. And the sixth is the path to the future. So that's if you are going to make those changes. And then the seventh card here at the bottom right tells you more about you. Above that is more about your situation. The ninth card speaks to your hopes and fears, and the 10th to the final outcome. So your card 1 is the blue moon card. So that's about the present. It's telling you to believe in the impossible. So I don't know what conflict you've got going on in your head that you're a little bit worried about, but it's telling you to believe in it and that things are possible even if they seem like they're not. So the second is about that challenge. It says some adjustments are required. That's what the third quarter moon means. So you're going to have to be willing to make adjustments and be uncomfortable in moving forward with that. The third speaks to your past, new moon in Virgo. It says it's a time to give rather than take. So you're going to know more about what that means specifically to you in this situation. But that's just your words of wisdom going forward in this. is to focus on the giving. So a fiery climax approaches, hopefully in more ways than one. That's the full moon in Aries, and I'm in Aries, so that always makes me happy. The 12-year-old in me always tells jokes when I pull that card, always. So exciting. You've got to build up here, but here's the fifth card, which is about if not the outcome on if nothing changes. It says don't let your past hold you back, right? And so I'm seeing all of these cards really are pointing to you being willing to make those changes and those growth, despite how painful growth can be and moving forward. So you've got to believe in it and not let it hold you back. So the sixth is the path to the future. New moon in Aquarius, bring love into the situation. So you're going to move forward from a place of love in how you change those, whether that means, bringing in, it probably means more than one way, generally speaking, right? Whether it's bringing in people that you love, surrounding yourself with that, but then also letting love guide your steps going forward. Seventh card is more about you. New moon in Pisces. You need to meditate and contemplate. So there's a lot about seeking guidance in these, I'm seeing. Number 8 is more about the situation. Communication is key. Don't shut down. I have a feeling you have a tendency to do that sometimes, right? Don't shut down and move in this journey, but hold your vision. The fixed moon is the card that's speaking about your hopes and fears. So hold on to that vision moving forward. I know it can be hard in those challenging times, but you need to do that always. And then the final outcome is the new moon in Scorpio. Work through your fears. So I don't know what particular situation you have happening, but there is a lot that it's talking about here about not letting your fears or your past hold you back, which I'm sure are related, and moving forward in love. So.
Oh, well, you already know about how many times I've gotten banned off Facebook and Twitter for saying men are trash.
Okay, that's fair.
That is fair. However, I will say, and I think we talked about this when I saw you, about two, it hasn't already been 2 weeks.
Something like that.
But I'm trying to get out of the job that I'm currently in. Mm-hmm. And my goal is to really start like a tarot and astrology consulting firm-ish, where I could be more focused on doing astrology readings and tarot readings on a more professional level. So I don't have to keep selling my soul to the devil for this job that is literally kicking my ass up and down the court. I shit you not, I had to move an entire office. There were a couple other people who helped, but mainly it was me coordinating everything. And I've got bruises, I've got injuries, I've got paper cuts, when I say my feet were hurting so bad, I had to take like lots of ibuprofen to just get them to stop throbbing. That is how much moving I did. So,
oh no.
Yeah. So I'm over A, the manual labor, and B, having a supervisor that I don't want to have.
Mm-hmm. So what is the fear that's holding you back? Is it just the going out on your own?
It's A, not having like the mentor, right? Because you were talking about like meditation, like, seeking out like guidance and things like that, like finding the right mentor for it, having like the right, I don't know what's the word for it. I would say like maybe consultation or something to help me walk through this process, because I'm not very what's the word I'm trying to say here? I'm not very entrepreneurial friendly, if that is a word.
I know what you mean.
In terms of like having that guidance to get up off the ground and get it launched and ready to go. So that's what I'm really struggling with right now. But but this is pretty spot on if you ask me.
Sounds like it's gonna be cool once you can get it started. Once you figure out the path, it's gonna work out.
Right. And just remember, don't panic or abandon it if it's not happening overnight.
Yeah.
Right.
Stay on the path and it'll get
Yes. Thank you. I appreciate it.
there. Okay, Carrie, who did you read for?
I read for you, Summer.
Oh, me. Okay, so here is what the spread looks like.
I did a 7-wheel spread with the middle card being your theme for the year.
Okay.
I
So-
also because I have a hard time remembering things.
Okay. Now I put these in here in the order you sent them to me. So if you need them in a different order on the screen, let me know.
I think I sent them in the correct order.
Okay. So this was the first card.
Tell you. So the first card is your sunset card, which is like the lessons from this last year, that you are either like learning to work through or still working through and processing. And a lot of it, since you have like the moon, which is like a major arcana card, it's a very large card, very theme for life.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of it was learning to push past like anxiety and insecurity and focus on listening to your intuition, which I think is a big lesson that we all have to learn, especially like those of us that are empaths and like going on a path that most people don't. Like you are like homesteading and you do so much for like your community, but like those are big issues I think that you've had to like work through, like pushing past anxiety and focusing on intuition, because you know what you're doing, you know you can do it right, but the world is like really hard and harsh and telling you that like that's wrong, like you're different and that's stupid, like you shouldn't do that, but like you do so much, and focusing on your intuition and listening to yourself is a big life lesson.
Okay.
And then number 2 was the Justice card.
Okay, I have these in the wrong order. Wait, what does it say?
Justice, it's number 8. It's that one.
Oh, there it is. I apologize, y'all. I am tech challenged. There we go.
So this position
Is
focuses.
this a joke about me being a lawyer?
No.
I never looked that good when I was practicing. Got to be, a mermaid with the scales. That would have been amazing.
The universe might be laughing at you a little bit on that one.
I mean, me too. It's fine.
This one is stuff like what you can expect in the next year. And like the biggest thing that I was getting from this card is that you're seeking some kind of like justice or truth about something like big. Like this is a major arcana card, so it could be something like super relevant to you, some kind of big injustice to you or like your community as a whole. And it's upright, so that is showing that some kind of justice is going to be served. Like the need is going to be met, and what you're expecting and hoping for is going to happen. It may not happen like immediately or the way you think it's going to, but the justice is going to be served for like that issue that you're working on.
Okay. I think I know what that's about, but I can't say so on the.
And like none of the spread has like a timeline, so I don't know, like there's not like a winter or fall,
Right.
An overall thing for the whole year.
Mm-hmm.
So it may not happen like very quickly, but start seeing like the progress of that justice over the year.
Okay.
And then the third card is the bottom left, which is the 2 of Pentacles. And it has a nice little sea turtle on there. I love
the sea turtle.
And that one talks about challenges you're gonna face. It should just be the turtle with the 2 pentacle coins.
Okay, y'all. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm sorry. There we go. Wrong turtle. There we go. My apologies, Dude Crush.
I think he'll forgive you this time.
Good.
This one's challenges you'll face in the next year. And I I think we all talk to you about this all the time, is about how busy you are. Ridiculous.
Me?
That most people could not handle. Somehow you do it. But this coming year, like, it's going to be a really big challenge for you, like doing the time management and being balanced and flexible in managing your work life and your home life. It's going to be really hard, and it's going to be a struggle to maintain that level of self-care and focusing on your home and personal life so that you don't have it outweighed for work.
Okay.
And then for number 4, which is your strength spot on how to harness and focus on your power, it's the on first.
It's the which one?
Knight of Wands reversed.
Okay, I will find it so people can look at it. Go ahead.
So this one is talking a lot about how you're working towards something and you have a lot of like willpower and drive for it, and you're trying so hard to push for it, and you're going in like the right direction, but you need to focus a little bit more on like what's the right word, like harnessing and focusing it, because you might get a little bit scatterbrained on the projects that you're working on because there's so many. So you need
Story of my life.
So it's really like trying to tell you that you need to like focus because you have so much energy built up trying to do all of it at one time that it's going to take power and energy away from them. Because you're trying to do too many things all at one time. So pick something and like focus on it and then like progress on that.
Okay. I am a camera.
I think Summer needs a flow chart for that.
It'll be fun.
I need a responsible adult who can just, keep me on track.
Oh, that's not me.
You know, like how a kindergarten teacher has to be really good at redirection. I need someone to do that for me in my life.
Just walk
like
around.
Always.
Just tap your hand. No.
Or even just say, is that what you're supposed to be doing? Probably not.
Well, luckily for you, the next card is the advice spot, and you got another major arcana card. You have a lot of those going on. It's gonna be a big year for you.
oh dear. This could be really good or really bad.
Advice spot, you got the strength card, and like the picture is showing like a mermaid on my deck is showing a mermaid ripping open a net and freeing all the fish and like protecting his community. So I think that says a lot about like you and like what kind of stuff you focus on in your life. You do so much community work and you're such a strong person.
But and I'm tired, y'all. I'm not gonna lie. I'm tired.
Because you focus so much on putting all that stress out and projecting it out into the world, and you don't take enough of it for you.
Yes.
This year should be focused more on taking time for you and like focusing on what it is that you truly are passionate about and taking time to build up your confidence in yourself and focusing on you a little bit more.
Finding balance is hard, y'all. I've been doing this community stuff for like over 20 years, and I feel bad because like I was mentored by people who'd been doing this longer than I've been alive, right? They've been doing this 50, 60 years. And so I'm like, I start making myself feel guilty about pulling back a little bit, but I'm tired. Like it's
back to like the
relentless.
It goes back to like you can't pour from an empty cup, which is such like a overused, like tired cliche, but it's still around because it's so accurate.
It is, and I'm having to learn that pacing because I mean we're still in an ongoing occupation.
Yeah.
Right? Like if we were in positions of power, we could actually change the ship. But right, we're just like constantly trying to stop the hemorrhaging. And so, you gotta, like when you're given CPR, how you're not supposed to stop compressions until they get there, but you can trade off with someone.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I've got to get better at trading off with someone.
That's what this card, like it's supposed to be advice for like this. And like a lot of like your other cards are telling you like you focus more on like your project, give that specific attention to certain things. And I think this card is highlighting more of like one of those big projects should be focusing on you. Like you don't devote enough time for yourself because you're always giving to everybody else. So I think one of your biggest projects for this next year should be you, and building up that confidence in you and building up like all that energy up in yourself again, so that when you are ready, you can give it back to the community and you won't be as empty and drained. Because being that in that state doesn't do anything for anybody. It does more harm than good because you're not passionate about it and you're not like excited about it anymore. All the projects you do are so heavy and strong, like it takes so much out of you. And I think if you took just a little bit of time this next year to focus on you, you'd come back with so much power and just like reinvigorate like your ideals for the movements that you're part of.
Okay.
That makes sense.
That's good. Yeah. I'm intending, my intention for this next year is to really focus on this whole homestead I'm setting up and businesses, get them going so that is less that I have to worry about, right? Like, how am I going to eat?
Yeah.
Is a little bit hard to focus on when I've got this happening and this happening, and I've got to be at this demonstration and I've got to set up this meeting and I've got to talk to the legislator here. Well, I can do all of those things a lot better if I'm not, wondering, am I going to be able to pay the rent, or, oh no, there's no food in my house. How am I going to deal with that? So I'm trying to focus. I've reached a point in my life where it looks like there is a attainable path to get that done, on a more permanent basis. So I'm trying to focus on that, but it's really hard because there are no end of issues that need to be worked on.
Being an adult is stupid and difficult and confusing, and we're all doing our best.
We're all just making this shit up as we go. And I think that's really important for the audience to understand. Nobody has it perfect, and it's okay. The point is to just keep trying to do better every single day.
Yeah. That's exactly what I was going to say. The next card is your navigation card, so giving you like some more guidance for the year again. That one is going to be the Page of Pentacles, the mermaid with the sea turtle again. And you just basically discussed all of this is. It was saying you're not quite ready to move forward yet because you're not taking the time to do the things you know you should be doing. And like we just discussed, like you should be taking time to focus on you so that you have the energy and you have the motivation to put back into your community and all of the things and projects that you want to do. So you're not ready for all that yet because you haven't taken that time to do.
Okay.
Like, especially like spiritually, mentally, the two like biggest parts, like you can't do anything without the mental health, I think, and like the spiritual health. Even if you're not like a spiritual person, still taking that time to reflect on like what it is you believe and taking the time to set like those morals and values and guidelines for you, I think it makes it easier to adjust everything else. For me personally,
okay.
But, like once you start focusing more on yourself, you'll be ready to pursue everything else. And then the final card, another major arcana card.
Wow, I'm a little concerned about this next year.
You got the Judgment card.
Is that because I'm judgmental?
No, actually no.
Ah, damn. I was hoping.
For this year, this is in the upright position. It means that you are going to be doing a lot of self-reflection and judgment upon yourself, like we just talked about. So all of this is just, correlating into one big giant theme of self-reflection and taking the time to take care of yourself and doing what you know you need to do. Even if you have to separate from other parts of life for a little bit so that you can have that time and energy for the things that you want, that's okay. You have to take that time to heal.
So your cards are screaming at me to get my shit together, is what I'm hearing. Okay.
Usually, my cards are not nice.
Okay, at least her cards are screaming at me about myself this time. Yeah. Normally, y'all, her cards are screaming at me about my relationships.
What the universe wants to tell you is the universe's business.
I mean, at least it's screaming at me about myself, because at least I have more control over myself. So I can.
Now it's just, listen, Summer, you know what you need to do. Let's do it.
Okay.
I'll push you.
I am with you, universe.